All right, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to show you this. These are, I don't know what you would call it. I don't know what the movement was, because we had several things in the movement. We had tiny homes, sustainable housing. They threw every name at it in the book to make it cliche and click. And so this was one example of that movement, was that they were trying to build houses out of shipping containers. So what they did here was they took Connex shipping containers, the metal shipping containers, as you can see on the side here. And those are usually about 8 foot wide, 10 foot tall, and I think 40 foot long. And what they would do is they would weld two of them together. Right there, see? They put them side by side and then weld them together to make a, you can see right there, to make a 16 by 40 space that you could have an apartment or a business in, as you can see. I believe the first floor here is all businesses, but the second floor I think is condos or apartments or whatever they're calling them. And it was part of a movement. I don't know if this is the tiny house movement or the sustainable living movement, or, I mean, back in 2010 we had so many housing ideas that they had every movement in the books for housing. And now this is a kind of a cool idea. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think it's cool, but the thing I had a problem with is I know that when I looked into it, they were looking at, a lot of people were making the comments of how these Connex boxes have all kinds of stuff in them, engine parts and greasy parts and gasoline and all kinds of stuff. And so what would happen is you get a box and it would have a wood floor, and then they'd pack everything in there, and then get over here and they'd have, you have to tear out the floor, reinforce the walls, do a whole 9 yards. You still had to do a lot of work on it. But if you were willing to live in a tiny home, 8 foot by 10 foot by 40 foot, which the interior, after all the modifications, insulation, electrical, plumbing, and all that, would be probably 6.5, maybe 7 foot wide. But then again, like I said, you could put two together and you could weld them together, just run a sheet of steel across the top and the bottom. They were designed to stack side by side and top and bottom. So, you could easily stack them and then anchor them with just a quick tack weld or a quick weld of a bar or something on each side. And then, cut out the center wall, reinforce the sides or the walls, and then make a big area. So that's what they did here in Arizona, is they built these Connex box shipping container condos and sold them or rented them or whatever they're doing with them. I think it's a cool idea. I don't know if it's actually a good idea. I mean, people have their concerns about, is it safe? And, but that's a concern about every housing system, is it safe? So you can see over here, they're building another housing system with the traditional lumber, and it's going to be, I guess, more apartments and condos. And then if you look down this way, well, if you look over there, up there's like two more buildings of apartments and condos. I don't know if they're apartments or condos. I know the difference, but I don't know what they are. And then over here, you see more buildings and condos and apartments and whatever they are. They're building them just left and right. Like, I don't know. They must be renting them out, because they wouldn't be building a building this size. They wouldn't be constructing a building of this size if it wasn't going to make money. I mean, that's like a $100 million, maybe $1 billion project. So, but they are building left and right all through Phoenix, Arizona, building apartments and complexes and all kinds of stuff. Here's one that they built years ago, which is interesting because this is an apartment complex. And then they have this open field right here, which I thought would be cool. Is like, since they haven't done anything, these apartments are 10 years old, 10, maybe 15 years old. And I thought it'd be cool, is like they could take this whole empty field and turn it into a dog park or a apartment park, a park just for the apartments, for the apartment tenants. Some grass, some trees, some benches. You could have your dogs running in there. See, they've already got it fenced off. So if you threw down some grass and put up some trees and maybe a cabana or two, you'd have a nice little park in there that the tenants could use. Make it a private park for just the tenants of the apartment. But I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, I just wanted to show you that and let you know what's going on in Phoenix.